Good morning. I'm here with everybody to say goodbye to Dean Lockus. I've known Dean since I was 6 years old. We've done a lot of stuff together. We've spent a lot of time. Things I can tell you about Dean. He was loyal. He was a great friend. He was a good husband. Great family man. He's a ball player, and he was a coach, and he was a great salesman. Maybe more than anything else, maybe the one thing that Dean was more than anything else was a pain in the ass. He was a colossal pain in the ass. And I think that is a huge part of who Dean Lockus was. Because I've got countless friends over my life that I introduced to Dean. And so many of them had a bad beginning. But it was the second time you met Dean. It was the third time you met Dean. It was the fourth time you met Dean that things changed. And you realized what a genuinely good human being he really was. Dean Lockus leaves behind a lot of friends. He leaves behind a lot of people who knew him and who loved him. That's because they took the time to get past the first and to really know the person. The person was loyal, kind, generous to a fault. He didn't judge. He accepted people for who they were. And that's important. That's important. For a long time, Dean and I have been together. I've looked it up. I counted it up at one point. I was wrong when I wrote it, but Dean and I played 27 football games together. We played over 60 basketball games together. Over 200 baseball games together, over 500 softball games together. We spent a lot of time together. We spent a lot of time together doing a lot of different things. The thing that I remember most about Dean is that he was a lot of fun. He was a lot of fun. I followed Dean. I followed Dean a lot in my life. I followed him at bat almost every time. He always batted 4 in the lineup. I always batted 5. And the thing is that Dean would get up at the beginning of a game and he would dig a hole and he would dig a hole and he would dig a hole right at the very back of the batter's box. And he dug this hole so deep, that his whole foot would sit in that hole. I couldn't sit in a hole that big. I had to have a smaller place to dig in. And the thing is that following him, I'd always have to come up after he dug this great big hole, and I could either try to fill it in, or I could move up a little bit and try to start and get in my stance there, and that's what I would usually do. But I like to be as far back in the box as I could too, and I remember once I dug in a bit too close to Dean's hole, and it fell through, and I fell into the hole, and I fell down. Dean never did understand why I was angry with him for that. Never. The last thing I really want to talk about with Dean is the fact that Dean made us come to terms with our own mortality. A couple of years ago, another one of our very good friends died. His name was Scott Rao. He died a couple of years ago, and we missed him. Dean made sure to contact all of us to make sure that we had checked ourselves for skin cancer, checked ourselves for tags, had anything checked out, because he didn't want another one of us to die that way. He didn't want to have to deal with his mortality that Scott made him deal with at that time. So now we're doing it with Dean. He left in a way that was shocking, was sudden, was totally unexpected, and a lot of us are still dealing with the aftermath of that. The good thing is, well, he left behind a wonderful person in Shannon. His two boys, Drew and Peyton, are outstanding young men. Drew called me the first night that it happened, or we found out. He's doing a great job. Dean did a good job. When we were little, Dean and I watched a movie. Made everybody cry. Makes everybody cry. It's a sad, sad movie. Brian's Song. And I kind of want to end with the end of Brian's Song because I think that was important. We're going to forget very quickly the way that Dean died. We're going to remember the way that Dean lived. And Dean lived a good life. His was a life well lived. And that has to be what we remember. And I want to finish by talking about the last thing the announcer said in Brian's Song. And he said, it wasn't how he died that we'll remember, but it was how he lived, how he did live. And I think those are the final words that we need to say about Dean. He did live. Thank you very much.